You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Yep, Charlamagne the God, Angela Yee. We are the world's most dangerous morning show, The Breakfast Club. We got our partner in the building. Dupré, Do-It-All. Kelly, what's happening, my brother?
I'm good. What up, man?
How are you, man?
I'm good,
So
man.
can we still call you Do-It-All? Or
Please.
Okay.
I mean, it's the movement now. You know, the name has, you know, that my mother, people used to always say, you know, be careful of the name you choose because it might follow you. And boy, did I pick a moniker.
Well, you're doing it all for Newark now.
That's right.
What
That's
was the
right.
name? What did the name mean in the beginning?
When I was in high school, a brother by the name of Kenya Reed, I went to Newark Tech High School in Newark, and I was involved in everything. I was on the baseball team. I was on a basketball team. I was rapping in the hallways. I was on the Computer Club of
you did it
America.
all.
And then one day I was running through the hallway. I was late for baseball practice, and I went in my locker, slammed it, and I ran by him. And he was like, "Well, Dad, you can't say what up." I'm like, "Oh, what up, K?" And he's like, "There go Do-It-All, Do." So my name is Dupré, and everybody short called me Do. So he was like, "There go Do-It-All, Do. Do-It-All, Do."
it
And
still
then-
makes sense to this day.
Yeah, and now, at first I didn't like it. I'm like, "Man, my name Do. Don't call me Do." And then I just said, you know what? Everybody started calling me Do-It-All, so I just ran with it.
We got to go back a little. You was a rapper.
Still, man.
He's
Still.
still a
Still
rapper.
rhyming?
Yeah, we just can't. Well, I can say it now because we're only 4 days away, but I skipped out on the campaign and did like 5 countries in 10 days. I had to go put back that money that I was spending on the campaign. So, you know, shout out to Lords of the Underground, DJ Lord Jazz and Mr. Funky, man. We blessed, man, to still do 60 to 100 shows a year. Man.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all had a
definitely.
lot of records, though. I mean, Chief Rocker, Mr. Funky.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it fun. What was it called?
Funky Child.
Funky
Funky
Child.
Child.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What song was on the New Jersey Drive soundtrack?
Burn Rubber.
Okay, I remember that song too.
Yeah, Burn Rubber. Yeah, man. That song was a great song. I think that song right there actually helped launch Outkast. And I'm gonna say
Really?
that. Yeah,
Really?
only reason why I'm gonna say that
That
is
was not
because Outkast was opening up. We were on a Tupac tour around that time, and Outkast used to open up for us, and we all had a song on the soundtrack. And for some reason, Pendulum Records did not want Tommy Boy Records to put out Burn Rubber as a single. So they went with Outkast as the single. So you had Outkast, LaFace pushing Outkast, and Tommy Boy pushing Outkast. And I think Ruben Rodriguez he made a big mistake for not allowing Tommy Boy to put that record out along with our record. So that's why I say it launched Outkast like that.
I always thought y'all was signed to Flavor Unit for some reason.
In the latter days, like our
Okay.
third, fourth album, we were signed to Flavor Unit. Yeah, shout out to Queen Latifah and Shakim. And
Why-
Deidre Tate at that time.
Why do you think Jersey doesn't get the respect it should in hip hop? I feel like a lot of dope ass artists come out of Jersey, but they don't look at Jersey as like a hip hop hotbed.
Yeah, man. We always wondered that, man. We always felt like we was the stepchild of New York. And I think that's why we fought so hard for our independence. You know, like we love New York City and we love the surrounding areas, but we hate it when somebody say that we're from New York.
Right.
You know, because we're Newarkers and we feel like we've been the sixth borough of New York. When hip hop was in its early days, we felt like every borough got love, and then when they got tired of the boroughs, they skipped over Jersey and went to Philly.
And it's crazy because so many rappers from New York moved to Jersey.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, when you talk about the '90s, I mean, you really have to give it up to Jersey.
Naughty by Nature, Redman, Queen Latifah.
Hell yeah.
Right.
Apache, wasn't Apache from Jersey?
Apache, Nikki D. It was just so many. Twin Hype. Remember Twin
Hype.
Oh,
They was actually from South Carolina, though.
Well, yeah, they was originally, but
They
they
from
were
South Carolina.
Poor Righteous Teachers,
Poor Righteous Teachers.
the Artifacts.
Yes, Artifacts, Rod Digger.
Damn.
Man, it's just so many people, man. So many
Outlaws.
Can't forget Outlaws.
Channel Live.
Channel Live.
Channel
Can't
Live
forget.
from Jersey?
Yeah.
Oh, we bugging.
Yep.
Somebody should have been to the Jersey hip hop documentary.
Yeah,
a
man.
long time ago.
Definitely.
And Hakeem still is very active in Jersey.
Definitely.
As-
Shout out to Hakeem Green.
I see
man.
both of y'all every time I come to Jersey. Well, I know he moved now, but when I come to Jersey, when I come to Newark,
Yeah, I see Yee in Jersey all the time.
all the
man.
time. Mm-hmm.
So y'all still do 60 to 100 shows a year.
Yeah.
And how many songs y'all do on stage? 4 or 5?
We do an hour to.
Wow.
Our lowest show is probably an hour and 10 minutes.
Wow.
So we do about an hour and 20 minutes maybe. On big festivals, we might do an hour and a half. So
So what you running for Newark City Council for? You ain't gonna have time to go on the road?
Well, I mean, Newark City Council, I still have the ability to be able, 60 to 100 shows. So I still have the ability to be in my city and fighting for my neighborhoods. I think one of the reasons why I decided to run for councilman is because, our people are frustrated in the city. And a lot of times, and there's no disrespect to the incumbents, but when you've been in something for as long as they've been in it, 27 years, 24 years, and there's problems and there are issues, you start to become part of the problem when you're getting the same result. And all of the things that I was doing in the city with my nonprofit organization, 211 Community Impact, we produce everything. We co-produce the Lincoln Park Music Festival, which is a 3-day festival. We co-produce the Family Fest, where I put on a show, and it's 5 wards in Newark, New Jersey, where I put on a mini concert in 5 wards. I give out clothes and give out food, and we just do a lot of things. Because when I lived in Cali for 1 year, doing my movie production thing, and when I came back home, I said, you know what? I'm not going to complain about the things that I see. Let me just become the change that I want to see. And when I started to do that, it started to attract people. And I wasn't saying nothing. I was just doing it. And then people were saying, oh, man, they started getting into it. One of my friends said, yo, man, they biting you. They copying you. I said, copying what? He said, they trying to do a book bag drive on.
Come on.
I'm like, that's not copying. That's what
That's good.
we want them to do
We're
it.
to spread it.
Yeah.
And you know what else is great, too, is that people probably find you relatable. You're out and about in the community. The kids see you all the time. You have a production company.
Right.
So you're always at events, whether you're working them or doing the events yourself or producing those events. And
True.
then people are familiar with you from your music career also. So I think just the fact that people have a familiarity with you, but then they see you doing positive things, all those things I think are really beneficial and helpful when you are trying to run for office.
Yeah, and you know what? It's bigger than me, man. It's about the culture. I had a conversation with Tupac Shakur over 20 years ago. Like I said, we were on tour with Tupac. It was Lords, Tupac, Patra, Outkast, Janae, and Fam was with them from Rotten Rascals. And one time, man, me and Pac, we were in the hotel. He knocks on my door, and he tells me, we come in, and he tells me, yo, we need to get more popular as hip-hop artists. And he said, the more records we sell, if we sell millions of records, that means millions of people will follow us. He said, once we get more popular, we need to take youth initiatives back to our communities, back to our neighborhoods, and buy banks and open up nonprofits. This was now reflecting on it, this was a 20-year-old Pac, So, and he said, then we might have to do something we don't want to do. And I'm like, what? Said, man, we might have to run for become elected officials. I'm like, man, I'm a rapper. I ain't trying to become and this is at 20.
Wow.
And I felt like over the time, I've done everything that we had a conversation about except run for office. And I wasn't trying to run for office. I just felt like I was around elected officials. I seen how they were utilizing me to galvanize my community, bring my community together, utilize my relationships from the hip-hop resources. And I said, wow, hip-hop, for my 4 decades of living on this planet, hip-hop has now become the pop culture.
Hell yeah.
And probably for 20 years or more, you want to argue with how long. But so if that means we're the pop culture, I've known that any pop culture always drives and pushes society forward. We sell everything from liquor to clothing to furniture, I don't know, dish detergent. We sell everything. So if that is the case, why don't we have a seat at the table when it comes to government?
I think it's funny you said that because I just was having this conversation with my man Aaron Foster, and he put something in my brain because whenever I say seat at the table, I'm always like, let's just build our own. And he goes, yo, we live in America.
Right.
We don't have our own nation. You know what I'm saying? So we need to have a seat at the table of the government of the country that we live in, local or national.
That's
and
right.
even more importantly, this will encourage other people to consider running for office because a lot of times we don't even think about that or consider the idea that at a young age or even being a person of color, that it's something that you aspire toward. But when they see you doing it, they're like, yo, that's dope. And when they see real changes being made and when they see you out and about and see that it's actually something that can be can change people's lives
Right.
and make such a big impact. What do you think that needs to happen? Like, what are some things in Newark that you feel like need to be improved on immediately?
I think that the Newarkers, who I would call around the internet right now, when we talk about Newark, we talk about indigenous Newarkers, people who are rooted in Newark,
from Newark, not
from
people
Newark,
that transplanted
born
there.
But
Not the
real
transplants,
Newarkers.
right.
For those Newarkers who were part of his downsides and his down times, then those are the Newarkers who need to be part of this renaissance that's happening.
Right.
So we need some inclusivity, you know what I mean? We need to be included in the things that's happening. But we as citizens and as residents, we have to demand to be included, demand and use the power of the ballot and speak up, use our voice, because a lot of times we're so ignorant or not literate to the things that we can do in our city, we can ask for in our city, so we don't ask.
Right.
So we don't do it.
Yeah, Mayor Ras Baraka was up here talking about affordable housing for people who are residents of Newark, because you don't want people to get pushed out. That's a result of gentrification, and that's one thing that they've been working on, and making sure that people can still afford to live in the city.
Right. I mean, the inclusionary zoning ordinance, that's what he is talking about, which for short we call it the IZO. I don't really know the entire IZO, but I do know that there's some of the things that it's a good thing, but it needs to be tightened up. It needs to make sure that what it's saying actually happens for the residents.
Right.
Because
so you got to make sure you stay involved.
Yeah. So we need a seat at the table. So when they're talking, we say, that's not for the residents, because you can say a big company can come in and we'll give them some of the apartments for affordable housing. I think it's 20 to 40% of the apartments built in different developments. But we have to make sure that that's real.
Right.
And then they have clauses where you can opt out. So if I'm a developer, I can build and I say, you know what, I don't want to deal with the affordable, so I'll just pay the money. So where is that money going?
I think he said that money goes toward building other developments where they have to put, I don't know, I'm not.
Yeah, it does though. He's right. It does, but it goes to the state. And then we have to apply as a city. So
it's a whole process that might not ever happen.
No, make it go to a fund that's in Newark, and then we can utilize Newark developers. So now that creates jobs, and then we have direct touch to the money, and we can utilize our people. We have so many abandoned properties in Newark, New Jersey that we own. Let's fix up those. I have a lot of friends who do contracting, and they fix up homes for $100,000, $60,000, and so on. Why can't we take $6 million and do that to a bunch of properties, put our residents in so that they don't get pushed out, and then we give them the opportunity to turn renters into owners.
That's a great initiative.
How do members of city council get things done? Like, how do they empower the community? Like,
well, they get things done by presenting legislation.
Okay.
Bringing new ideas to the table, but everything has to be voted on. So, it's like Obama was in office; he couldn't do anything because nobody voted.
So if you're not there
on
at the table voting,
to
get these initiatives passed and these bills passed, and they won't pass because you didn't run for office.
Well, even if you're at the table, let's say even if you get in and you're at the table, you need 5 votes to make it pass. So I can have this great idea, and because you personally have a problem with me, or you don't like something, or you have a deal with him over here to not go with, a good thing might not pass.
What does New York City Council look like now? Like, what type of people are?
Nobody from Newark.
You have right now the 4 council at large, and that's the position that I'm running for. You have a guy that's been in there 27 years. You have a lady who's been in there 24 years. You have another guy who's been in about 12 or 16 years, and one who's on his first term.
Okay.
So it's nothing wrong with that if you're doing results.
Right.
If you're presenting results. But when you're not presenting results, you start to look like the problem when you're in something for so long. And we all know when you're doing something, the same thing over and over again, what that definition is. So insanity, man. And I just believe that when you're not amongst the people, even when I lived in Cali for a year and I lived in Paris for a year, when I come back home, and I was only gone for a year, but come back home, I'm not on the block anymore. I don't know that Miss Williams have a rodent problem on that block.
Right.
I don't know that Mr. Johnson is mad at the loitering on the corner. But when you're in the neighborhoods and you're one-on-one with all of the residents, you know all of the little intricate things that make up our community. You know what needs to stay, what needs to be molded and modeled after. You know what things needs to go. And I don't believe that the incumbents that are at large right now are in touch with that anymore.
Right. Maybe
Maybe they were at one time. For being in there so long, they had to be doing something, but not anymore. It's like having a system that, it's just not the same. 90s rap is not being played on the radio, unless it's a 90s station, because times have changed, right? It's the same thing with politics. We got 90s rappers in the building, and the times have changed. All we're saying is let somebody in that actually speaks the language of the people and understands the language of the people.
That's very important, because if you say you had something you wanted to change 20 years ago but never got it done, you'll stick to that same thing for 20 years.
Yes.
But things have changed. There's new problems now.
Mm-hmm.
What does the youth in Newark need?
The youth in Newark, the millennials in Newark, as we call them, they want to be included. They want to be included. But we have to understand, too, and the youth have to understand, just because you want to be included, you have to make it happen. You're not just entitled because you're the youth. You have to want it. You have to go after it. And that's for all of the residents within the city, But the youth just want to be included. They want their voice to be heard. Like we all did. You know what I mean? When you think about hip hop, when hip hop was a youthful sport, a youthful game. I look at it like this. Hip hop, you got hip, right? Hip is in the now, being in the know and being cool. You have hop. Hop is like a movement. It's the form of movement. So if you look at it that way and you put it together, you have the now movement. That's why it forever stays young. That's hip hop. You know what I mean? So if that is the case and hip hop is the pop culture, it's a culture that ever stays young, forever feel like it stays young.
As an indigenous Newark person,
right,
what are some of the great things that you've seen happen in Newark over the past, couple decades?
Couple decades.
When you think back to when you were coming up as Lords of the Underground was bubbling up to where we are now, what are some things you can say has been really positive? Because Newark used to have such a stigma about it, and now things are
still.
But when you go there and you see it, it does. It's still, that stigma still does remain. But Newark is so different than what it was 20 years ago.
I love Newark because it's black.
Yeah,
it's just a black, brown.
It's definitely a chocolate
town.
Yeah, chocolate, a black and brown city, man. I think, man, when you talk about what has changed, we're not what we want to be, but we're not what we used to be either, right? And when you think about the leaders who have done great things in our city, I instantly look at Amiri Baraka Sr. I feel like he was a revolutionary that pointed the way for us. And then Ken Gibson, he gave us a voice. And then after Ken Gibson, because he was our first black mayor, he gave us that voice. Then after him, we had Sharp James. Now, Sharp James gave the city to Newark. Like, look, let's eat. And then you had Cory Booker. Now, mind what people think about Cory Booker or what have you in Newark. Cory Booker put us on a national platform where people started to talk about us, started to notice us. And we all know when something is attractive, people go towards it.
Right.
And Raz Baraka, he made people believe in Newark again. No matter what they feel about him or care about him now, he made people, residents of Newark, believe in Newark again. I want to be able to add to that. I know I'm not running for mayor, but I feel like this is what I'm doing is going to spark not just Newark, New Jersey. It's going to spark the culture of hip-hop. I would love to see T.I. run for mayor in Atlanta.
Absolutely. Him or Killer Mike. Absolutely.
Killer Mike. I would love to see David Banner somewhere in the state senate office. And while you're playing around, maybe even Plies later down the line, talk about something. Yeah, I went too far. No, but Plies.
He does have some great insight.
He talks slick sometimes.
He does.
But, just my point is, I don't even Drake run for prime minister in Canada. I don't know, but my point is, people who are directly have the power to galvanize millions of people And to bring them to a table, you don't have to be the smartest person in the room. You can bring somebody to the table and say, look, this is what we need to get done. This is what needs to be said to these people. And I think hip-hop is that culture that brings every and anybody together. Look, I just came back from doing 5 countries, still off of records that I wrote in my room on 19th Street and South Orange Avenue over 20 years ago. That's amazing to me, and I'm cool with that.
What about qualifications? Because that's the first thing people will say. Because, I look at the White House, I'm like, man, I don't want no celebrity in chief in the White House.
Right.
Like, why rappers and athletes and entertainers, why should they be politicians? What qualifications do they have?
I'm not saying that all rappers have to be politicians, because you definitely need qualifications. But hip-hop has always been political. Mm-hmm. We started like that. We talked about social injustices. We talk about social ills. We talk about getting up out of poverty situations and impoverished situations. So hip hop has always been political. We're just now asking for politics to have a conversation with hip hop.
And then you see a T.I. and a Killer Mike on the transitional team for the mayor.
Yeah.
So you start somewhere and work your way up.
That's right.
Because I'm sure maybe in your head you're even thinking about maybe one day mayor.
Nah, actually, man, I've been campaigning for 11 months. And this is not an easy thing.
Well, why stop here?
Right, because you might, once you're on New York City Council, that's the first step, and then maybe after that, and you're involved, and who knows, 10, 12 years from now, you might say, you know what?
Got to pass the baton to another black man.
That's right. That's right. I mean, I'm not stopping here, but I just feel like this. I'm in a vehicle, right? And when you're in an automobile, the headlights, when you're not moving, sees 200 feet in front of you. When you're not moving, you only see 200 feet in front of you. But when you start moving, you see another 200 feet. You move, you see another 200 feet.
Absolutely.
So you start to know the exits and on ramps that you didn't notice before when you weren't moving. So as along my journey, who knows?
Right.
I heard there's lead in the drinking water in Newark.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
So I've been working with hip hop for water, hip hop for life water, Queen Yanaja, Hakeem Green, they brought me in. Marcy DePena, they brought me in 2015 to help out with the water situation. And we did a great job, man. We were able to bring filtration systems to the school systems that had the water problems. And at first it was saying that the water problem was not in our source of water, but in our pipe, service pipes to the homes or to the buildings. And to me, that's still a problem. If it's not in our source, but it's in some of the service pipes, which service pipes are the faulty ones? We don't know. So if it's in the service pipes and the service pipes are bringing the water into the properties, that means it's still in the water.
Yeah, it's still there.
You know what I mean? So I would tell all Newarkers, Home Depot, I just found out, shout out to Donna Jackson in Newark, I just found out that Home Depot is doing free tests. Anybody with properties, homes, they're doing free lead tests for your water. So go to Home Depot, hit them up to find out how you can have that service. And until right now, I know our mayor, shout out to Raz Baraga, saying that we don't have a lead problem in our water. But let's make sure, until you find out, drink bottled water, man.
Word.
Play it safe.
And you went to Shaw, right?
Yeah, Shaw University, man. Alpha Phi Alphas.
Was that before rap or after?
That was I got my deal and met Marley Marl while we were at Shaw.
Wow.
And we stayed in school for a while too, man. So Derek L.A. Jackson, I think he found the Roots. He used to manage Coolio. He found us. He went to Shaw, and he was my DJ Lord Jazz, one of his good friends, and he's Marley Marl's cousin, and he was going to work for Marley afterwards. I didn't believe him, though. He was like, yeah, give me a demo, and I'll play it for Marley. I was like, everybody always lying. And he was serious.
That's interesting that you say that, because some people think I got to pursue this music career, so I'm not going to school. But you can still do both. You can do both. If you want to, you can go to school and pursue your music career, and you might even meet those people that's going to help you out later on or put you on in school.
You know what's exciting to me sometimes is when people come up to me and they say, yo, I went to college because of you guys.
Wow.
Yo, that's big for me because
I used to wear the Shaw stuff in the video.
And we did it at our videos on campus.
Yeah.
So shout out to everybody, man, that seeks higher education and more information, definitely, man.
What made you seek higher education coming from Newark, though? Because, that's the brick city. Like,
well, to be honest, I took a year off because I got into some trouble. And it was a councilman by the name of Ralph T. Grant Sr. at the time. I played baseball in Newark, so I lost all my baseball scholarships and everything, my joyriding, and got into some little trouble. And he came to my aid because he said, this is not a bad dude. I don't want to see you fall by the wayside just for one mistake. And he got behind me, got me to go to his alma mater, Shaw University, man, and it changed my life, man.
One mentor changed your whole life.
One mentor, and I feel like I owe that now to the people in Newark, New Jersey. I owe that to my city. I just believe when you love your city, you can change it.
So when's the election?
Tuesday, May 8th. Come out. Everybody who's in Newark, if you're in the surrounding areas of Newark, tell a friend to tell a friend, tell your family, tell your grandmama and them, to come out, Newark, New Jersey, vote for your boy, Dupré Kelly. Let's do it all for Newark. Vote B5. And let's do something different this year. Don't vote the same, a line A or line B, just because you like someone on that line. Pick who you like. Do the research. We have Google, we have internet. We can search anybody.
Absolutely.
Search the work. Follow up and see the people who have been putting in the work and what their platforms are, and then select those people, because you might vote a line for somebody that you like, one person, but there's 9 other people on that line that are horrible, or 8 other people, or whatever the number is, and you've just put them into office because of one person you like.
A person that don't have none of your interests at heart.
Definitely, man.
You're a Republican, right?
No.
Okay, just checking.
You don't have to be any particular party, though.
I claim Democrat because that's what I came up on. But man, I'm the people-crat.
Word, I feel the same way.
I'm
the
just
only
for
reason
the
I
people.
register is because you can't even some local elections you can't vote in if you're not registered as a Republican or Democrat.
Yeah, but I'm running independent in Newark, man. Shout out to all of the candidates who are playing this game and in this fight, because it's definitely a fight. And all of the people that are playing fair. And, I just believe the way that you campaign is possibly the way that you're going to govern.
All right.
So if you're out there, stealing signs and stealing posters, you're probably going to steal when you get into office. If you're out there lying to elders, saying that you cannot vote for Dupré Kelly if you vote for this person, you're probably going to lie to the elders and the people in the residents when you get in the
100%.
office. If you're out there doing something sneaky and being deceitful, most likely you're going to be deceitful and sneaky when you get into the office. So let's make a change, Newark. Definitely.
My man Dupré, do it all,
Yeah.
Kelly. Go vote for him on Tuesday for Newark City Council. Thank you for coming, my brother.
Yo, thanks for having me,
Absolutely.
man. Salute to you, man, too.
Yes, sir.
Congrats on the book and everything you're doing. Yeah, it's always love, man, every time I see you.
It's the Breakfast Club.